So for this tutorial I will be showing you how to make this basic beanie. So this is a crochet pattern and it's really easy to do, even for a beginner. It uses just one stitch and one ball of chunky wool. So to start with, you will need a size 8 hook, and I am using Woolcraft Shetland Tweed Chunky. This colour, it's listed as mustard online if you go to buy it, but it's more of an orange. Right, so to begin with, you obviously find the end of your wool. It's usually tucked into the bottom. If you're more of an experienced crocheter, if you look down in the description, you'll be able to see a pattern for it. You might not need the explanation. Right, so to start with, you need to make a slip knot. So to do that, you wrap the wool around your finger once, wrap it again, pull the bottom loop over the top loop, and again pull the bottom loop over the top loop. You pull it tight and you have a little knot or a little loop. So you put your crochet hook in the loop, and then we're going to make a chain. So to do this, you pull the wool through the loop. You should only have one loop on your hook. You do it again and again, and we're going to do this 36 times. So once you've got 36 chains, it should look something like this. So quite long, stretchy, looks a bit like a plait. So what you're going to want to do is put your hook through the second loop from your hook. So you will see this is the first one, and then the second one is where the second hole is at the top. So we're going to bring that up. Then from there, you're going to grab the yarn from the back again and pull it through both loops on your hook. So that is how we're going to start the crochet. So from here, simply what you're going to do is put your hook through the next loop. So mine is there. Grab the yarn from the back, pull it through both loops. And you're going to do this across the whole of the chain. So by the end of it, you should have 35 chains at the end, because we missed one at the end. And what you're doing by this stitch here is, this is called a single crochet. So I will come back to you when I have got to the end of this chain. So when you get to the end of the row, you need to make sure that you go into the last stitch, but you're going to again pull one through. You need to chain, so that's called a chain, as we did at the start. So we're going to do one of those to help make it neater on the edge. So once you've done that, you're going to turn your work over. So you will now have the end of the wool by your hand. So again, we're going to do single crochets. So what you will see is at the top of your row, you will have little V stitches. So that shows you how many stitches you've got. What we're going to do is pop the hook through the hole that's created underneath the V. So again, you pull it through, pull the yarn through too. So again, you're going to go through the next hole, and you're going to carry on doing this. It shouldn't be hard to put your hook through the stitch. If it's difficult, then it might be because you're pulling your stitches quite tight. So you carry on doing this, and this is literally the pattern. So you're going to go across in single crochets till you get to the end. Again, you'll chain at the end of the row, turn it and continue. So when I said this was quite an easy pattern, that is what I meant. But don't be disheartened if you have to stop and restart the video or watch it in slow motion, because it can be difficult to pick up at the start. So once you have finished this part, so you'll know that you've finished this once your finished piece looks long enough. So there's a couple of ways to know that it's long enough. You can measure it against an existing hat, and you can see that it is pretty similar size. Or you could measure your head size and obviously double it. So this will eventually be the top of the hat. So my finished hat is around 46 centimeters long, and with my wool, or with my yarn, I have quite a bit left, which I'm going to use to sew up the edges of this. So just to show you how you finish it, again go through the loops, and when you get to the last stitch, again go through it. It might be a bit difficult, and then you pull the second loop through the first loop, then again you pull the yarn through. You pull it tight so it causes a knot. The way that I've crocheted mine, I've got some yarn left over, and the way that I make sure that I've got enough yarn is by making sure that I've got the length and the width of the hat in yarn. So I'll just measure that out and then I will cut it so it's got enough for the width and the length. So now what we need to do is where the yarn finishes, where it starts, where this long bit of yarn is, we need to sew it up the sides. So I use a special tapestry needle, but I also use a embroidery needle threader, which is very useful. I use the thicker side to make it easier to thread the yarn through. So the way I'm going to do this is literally by matching up the stitches on one side and to the other side. It doesn't really matter, it can be approximate as long as it's done properly. So I'm going through both stitches like that, and making sure I go through every single one. So I've just finished the last stitch. It is a tubular shape now. So I've just made sure that the last stitch I completed is quite tight. Next I will be doing some rough stitches around the top. So I usually do it between every stitch where there's a little hole. And you need to do this around the whole of the top of the hat. So it doesn't matter if it's a bit wonky, no one will see it at the end. So once you come to the end, you're going to end up with something like this. You just need to pull it tight. So as I said, this will be the top of the hat. So now usually what I do is just go from one side to the other, making stitches and pulling them tight just to close the gap. But on this hat we're going to have a pom-pom, so again as long as it's tight and it won't come loose, then it doesn't really matter about the size or the shape of it. So now on my last stitch, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go into a part of the hat. I'm just going to make a knot, just so the yarn doesn't come loose. Pull that up. Again, I will wrap the yarn around it and make another knot. So as simple as that. So I'm just going to cut the end. We've finished the top of the hat, and now all that's left to do is to attach the pom-pom to the top. So this one has a button, so it's easier to do. We've got the threads at the bottom and a button that goes the right side. So to attach one like this, you grab a crochet hook. I'm grabbing quite a small one. This is a 4.5, it means it'll be easier to come through. So just push the hook through the top. Doesn't matter exactly where. I loop the threads underneath the hook, and I pull them through. So I'll hold that pom-pom tight. Now on the inside of the hat, we've got these little loops, so we're just going to pull those. Now we thread the thread through the button. So once I've got it threaded and the button is on, I'm just going to pull it quite tight and make a knot. Make a bow. This is actually really difficult to do. So I've pulled that tight. I'm just going to double knot it here. And this button, you're meant to remove it every time you wash the hat. So I'm going to leave the loops quite long. It'll be on my hair, so I won't really feel it anyway. So once you've finished tying the bow at the bottom, your hat will be nearly done. So a little fact as well, if your pom-pom has just come out of a package, you can blow dry it and that will fluff it up again. So the last thing to do is to sew in this end. So this was where we started, so don't just cut it off. Grab your hook. I've got a smaller hook this time, just because it's close to me, and you just pull it through. So when you're nearly at the end, you pull it through the stitch itself. So rather than pulling it through the holes, you want to sort of weave it into some of the stitches. So the reason you do that is just to keep it secure, and then you can pull it back through now. Give it a tug just to make sure that it's secure, and then I cut it off. There we go. So now you have your finished hat. So for this hat, because it has been ordered from me specifically, I'm going to attach my logo to the front, making sure that the part I sewed is at the back. So that is the finished hat. Hope you found that tutorial easy to follow, and check back soon for more. Thank you.